Hey guys, I am excited. So I a lot of times have people who will ask me, Jen, what is our system to enroll? What is our system to enroll a new ambassador? What is our system to enroll? Like, how will you do it? And so this past weekend, I sat down and I had like a little passion project, and I was like, okay, I want to figure out a system. And when I say a system, a lot of these things and pieces we have and we're using, but it's like not collectively put together as a system, or we don't know where to find it. So not only am I, you know, creating the system, I'm also creating a board for it. So we're going to see more and more added there. So essentially, if you were stuck or you were like, I really would like to know the system to like enroll a new ambassador, the system, and from start to finish, you guys, like I'm talking from the very beginning where I don't know what it looks like, the entire flow. It's now created. So I'm going to go through that system today for you all. So here we go. All right. So this is a system that I like to call connect. Why? This is what we do, right? This is what we do. This is exactly what we do, who we are, but it's a framework for building relationships right through to the enrollment process that's going to grow your business. Okay, so we're going to start with the letters and what each letter of the connect framework stands for, because it will help you when you go through this process to remember it. So C stands for capture, right? You're capturing attention. You are attracting people through your content, through your energy, through what you talk about. You're doing it online, but offline as well. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, and I'm going to go through each of these categories in depth. The second phase of the connect framework is observing, right? You're observing who is engaging. You're observing who's showing up consistently. You're observing the people that are talking to you at your offline events. You're observing who those people are, right? And you're starting to make notes. Third part of the framework, and remember, people aren't joining just a business, they join someone that they trust. So each part of this framework is super important. And I also want to say that sometimes it takes a long time. Like sometimes it might take a year, sometimes it might take months, sometimes it might take longer. But this is the entire process. So nurture. Well, what does nurture mean? It's like the conversation that you're nurturing, that you're talking to people, that you're leading with interest in them. You're opening the door. You're looking for like gaps in the conversation. The second N stands for notice. What this means is you're going to be able to ask questions to make sure and notice it's the right time. Notice that it's the right fit, right? You're essentially qualifying people when you do this. The next stage is called extend, where you guys, this is something that we get stuck on. I'm going to hit this really hard here, but you're extending an invite to the next step. You're not necessarily going to close it. You're not, a lot of times I think that we get stuck on what to say because we're always wanting that end result. But essentially, you're extending an invite to the next step, which is always a tool. And we're going to go through the tools that we have in our toolbox for this. Then cultivate. After you extend the invite, you still have to cultivate the relationship. The invite doesn't end the relationship, or necessarily it might end in someone joining your business, either as a member or as an ambassador, but you're still cultivating that relationship. And sometimes you have to follow up and cultivate that for a long time. Okay. And then the final stage is called transition, where you're transitioning them from this relationship stage into someone that's in your business, right? So you're going to help move them from just interested into action. So now we're going to jump into all of this. And remember, I've created a board for all of this, and there's going to be more and more content in that board as we go, as I get everything organized. I spent all weekend doing this. I laid awake because I was like, I just want to have it all on paper and one system so that anyone at any stage in their business could come in and go, oh, this makes sense to me. So capture, this is again, you're capturing interest, right? And I want you to remember that your content, what you're talking about on social media, does the heavy lifting before you even get to the DM stage, right? So think of your content as the recruiting magnet, the enrolling magnet that's going to attract people to you. And when you're thinking about your content, you're not just building a customer base, but people are watching you, right? Every post that you do, if someone is remotely interested in your business, they're going to watch you And they're going to view it from the lens of like, does this seem like something I could learn and do? Or, whoa, this seems crazy. Like, I'd never want to do this, right? So, this is where what I want to tell you is that your life, your energy, who you are, how you show up online is everything. Again, no one wants to do business with someone who's negative and miserable, right? They just don't. No one wants to do business with someone that talks down to you. You want to do business with people that are relatable, that seem like you, that like don't make it so hard and complicated that you think I can't do that. But know that people are always watching you. They're watching your life, your energy behind the scenes, and they're kind of almost evaluating, does this business look like something I want? So what to post with, again, the idea of building your team. And when I say recruiting, I want you to think of enrolling, whether it's customer or ambassador, but we're really focusing on ambassadors right now. So what to post with that in mind? Behind the scenes of what your work looks like. Capture you branding the build, capture you talking about your business, what you do, capture all of these moments. You want to capture like the income and time freedom moments, like when you're traveling, when you have flexibility in your day, like, if it's a Monday and you're able to go for a walk in the middle of the day, capture that because a lot of people in this world can't do that. And they're going to wonder, how in the world are you able to do that? Capture your family time, capture what the business allows you to do. Team culture content is everything because in today's world, a lot of people don't have a community. They're maybe, empty nesters, they're lonely, and they're looking for a community. So anything that you can do to capture our culture and what we do. So the trips, our community, our meetings that we do online, any of the fun events that we do. You want to talk about your story, your why all the time. You want to talk about other people's stories, their results, their testimonies, your clients' testimonies. Engagement posts are a huge thing that you can do. And again, we're going to have like an area in a folder in boards that you can go here. And then humor and relatable content. Guys, this is a big one. If all you do is post about leadership all day long, if all you do is post about BioCell all day long, people will tune you out. So you have to think about the other areas of your niche, which we've trained on in social media, in some of our social media trainings, but like, who am I? What do I want people to think of when they see me? What do I want people to think of when they think of me? So I'm going to give you my own personal thing. Like the last 2 to 3 years, I have been uber consistent in my niche. And I always talk about things that midlife women are dealing with, right? So I talk about problems. I talk about my own problems. I talk about other clients. And I offer solutions, whether it's something I sell or just something I don't. But that is kind of who I'm talking to. And I try and make it funny as much as possible. Why? We live in a very heavy world. The more funny you are, the more that people are going to be attracted to you. If you are just a walking ad all the time, they're going to scroll by you. If all you talk about is like things they can't relate to, like high level leadership stuff, they're just going to scroll by you. So be real, be authentic. The algorithm actually rewards consistency over perfection. Okay. When you're talking about product, fun fact, dial in and talk about our top sellers. So BioCell Life Plus is a top seller in Canada and the US. Trim is a top seller. Vivix is a top seller. Good Gut and Go. The other BioCell blends, those are all top sellers. So if you are going to do your Shackley commercial with product in your stories, make sure you're choosing the big sellers. I love our cleaning line, you guys. I use it every day. But you know what? I don't focus on that because I want to focus on the bangers, right? The things that I know are going to get me clicks and people interested. So again, think of your content as a conversation starter. Every single post you do, every single story that you do, products that you feature, it all plants a seed that people will remember and associate you with that. So social media will bring people to you, right? So you capture, that's the C, their attention. And remember, consistency beats perfection every single time. And no matter what, show up daily. People will always say, like, what is your secret to success? I'm consistent. Consistency is my freaking superpower. And that is something that no matter what, I will always show up. So now, when we are capturing attention, I just talked about online, but guess what, you guys? In-person events work really well to capture attention. So you're going to be building your business online, but think about what can you do in person, because events are your fastest path to get warm ambassadors in your business. Use the event as a stage to attract. And a lot of times you're going to gain a lot of customers in one day or one weekend. And remember, those customers can convert later on. So examples of things that you can do in person open houses, a wellness pop-up, collaborate with your gym, collaborate with an esthetician, collaborate with another business, right? You could do a spring fling event this time of year. Networking groups. When I moved to a new city 12 years ago, I got into every single networking group I possibly could to get my business out there. I talked to everyone, right? If you can be on any speaking panel, podcasts, anything like that, use those in-person events to really get that message out there and capture people's attention. All right, so that's the first C. Next is O, observe. What are you looking for? This is where you're going to observe, but identify who these people are. So you're looking for green flags, guys. You're looking for, people who are following you. So I love to track. So top leaders will always track who's watching, who's engaging, who's replying to your stories, because those are your signals. They're interested, right? And the key is creating that content that will spark interest and gets conversation started without hardcore selling, okay? So this is huge. If you're only selling, they're going to tune you out. They're going to scroll past you. So think about, how can I create content? Today in my stories, I talked about, we did a business event last night with Roger, and I'm leveraging that replay. So today in my stories, we're just selling the replay. I really talked about why now, what the collagen peptide market is, how it's exploding, the stats on where it's going in the next 5 years. I talked about the longevity market. I talked about the wellness industry and how many trillions of dollars it's going to grow, right? So I was marketing the business without marketing the business, if you can see what I'm saying, with all of those things. So now I have people in my inbox who are asking me about this. So what are some green light signals that you should look for? People who watch your stories, especially those business and lifestyle ones, right? People who comment on your posts about income, travel, freedom, right? People who ask you about what you do, how are you able to travel? Why were you just in Cabo? People who talk about maybe needing more income, more flexibility. Maybe they need to change in their life. People who tag their friends in your content. This is where humor works really well, you guys. I get so many tags, so many shares, so many people who message me with my funny midlife reels and posts. And that opens up my network to new people. People who engage multiple times in a short window of time. And if you're doing those in-person events, these are the people that linger around. They ask those questions. They're checking it out. They want to swap info. But you want to be building a list and tracking those people and keeping track of those green flags. Now, a lot of us sell a lot of product, and we love selling product, me included. You guys, I'm always in the 10K club. A lot of times though, we will separate that we have customers and that we have ambassadors. And what we're not doing is thinking about selling can be the pathway to building your team, because your best ambassadors might be in your business already. They already know the product works. They already trust you. They said yes to you already once. So are you paying attention and looking for the signs that your existing customer is ready? So I talked about your audience in the first slide. These are signs that your existing customers that are buying your product are ready. So they're referring people without being asked. Hey, Jen, I gave your number to my friend Mary, who's also in midlife. They talk about the product on their own and they tag you. Oh, green light. They ask how the business works. They say they wish they could afford more. They're broke, right? They're like, I love how you get to travel. New Zealand has been on my bucket list for years, but I can't afford it. Green light, right? They talk about how much the product has changed their life. They're your biggest social media supporters. But all of those things, you guys, are a great invitation to have the conversation with them, right? Open the conversation. I like to think about building my team as franchising me. Because when you have a customer who's a raving fanatic of your product and they become an ambassador, guess what? You just exploded your reach into their network, right? So if you love a product and you want to sell more of it, you can franchise yourself and get the product out there more, right? More people like you in your business are going to get those products out there. It's more conversations without you being in the room, more product out there, more lives changed. Right? And you've built something that works, it works, so help someone else create their vision and their version of that. Okay, so we've talked about C, we've talked about O, right? So observing, so capture, observe. The next one is nurture. You guys, nurture conversations. Conversations should flow naturally. Scripts are great as like a starting point, but you don't want to sound like a robot. Okay, you don't want to sound like a robot. A lot of times I'll see people using a script and it's words they would never use. You guys, make sure that you are having these conversations. And again, you're connecting with people. Look for the gaps in the conversation, the things that were on the previous slides, of things maybe that you can help them with, right? So I love, again, I would never pitch anyone, hey girl, I have an opportunity for you. We have $1 billion company, la, 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 no. This is a great way is think of like, how would you respond? But I like to just be a normal person. Don't be weird. I like to have normal conversations. It's not about your business, but it's about connecting and nurturing, right? And looking for the gaps, maybe where you can help solve the problem. So what are you listening for? You're listening for frustration with their current situation, whether it's their health, their job, their income, time. I started this business not because of income and not health. I wasn't even concerned about my health back then. I started because of time. I didn't have time with my kids. So, thankfully I had someone who was always like looking for those signs with me and keeping that door open. And she nurtured me in conversation for 1 year before I said yes. 1 year. Thankfully, she nurtured that, because if she gave up, I wouldn't be here today. Right? So you're listening for things. You're listening. Maybe they have a dream they're not working towards. Maybe like I've been thinking about doing something different. Don't let that something different be not your business, you guys. Curiosity about what you do. Here's some examples. Again, these are going to be in boards of just like an engagement-based opener. So they're clicking, watching your stories. Hey, Mary, I saw you. And I love saying like, Mary. I don't say like, hey, girl, I hate that. Don't use that. Mary, I see you've been watching my stories. I love having you there. Like, tell me what's going on. Right? And again, that isn't a pitch to my product. Even if she was watching my BioCell story, I don't say like, hey, Mary, I saw you watching my BioCell story. You want to buy it? That is weird, right? No, it's like, hey, I love having you here. What's new with you? Again, if they're commenting on your post, oh my gosh, Mary, your comment on my post made me smile when you said about blah, blah, blah. What's happening in your life right now, right? Reconnect, follow up after event. We've got examples for all of this. So nurture. So again, capture, observe, nurture. Now we're on to the second end and connect. Notice these people, qualify these people, that they are the right person at the right time. You guys, not everyone is meant to be in your business, nor should they be in your business. Not everyone is ready. They might not be the right fit. So you need to notice them when they are. You need to qualify that they are, right? So I like to ask questions. Again, a customer who is like never on social media, who stays inside all the time, doesn't have a friend network, doesn't, do anything really, is likely not the right person for this business. She is the right person to be a customer. But other signs, green lights for people are there. So, again, I've talked about qualifying across 3 different profiles. So I have an existing customer, someone who loves wellness, and someone who maybe has entrepreneurial experience or network marketing experience. So we have some examples here. So if they love the products, like, oh my God, have you told your girlfriend about it? And again, these are examples, you make it you. So I wouldn't say, are you sharing this with anyone? I would say like, Mary, have you told any of your girlfriends about this yet? You're having such great results, right? And then there's a bridge. Like, can you imagine that you could share a link with them and you could make some money? Like, that'd be kind of cool. Again, I'm making it my language. This is a suggestion. Always make it your language. A wellness person, like, have you ever thought about like your passion for health and wellness and turning it into like a side income, right? Someone that has experience, like, tell me more about your business. Tell me more about the hair salon that you own. Like, what do you love about it? What do you hate about it? Right? So you're having these questions. So there's examples again over here of some questions that you can start, but you want to notice that they are the right person and you want to make sure and qualify them. Okay, you guys? So we've got CONN. Next is the E, which is extend an invite. You guys, this is the part where people get all weird because we're like, I don't know what to send. Now, I want to give you permission to think about this, as you do not need to like have the end result be your goal. Like, that they're in your business. All you need to think about at this stage is extending an invite to a tool, and the tool is not you. You are not the tool. Do not be the tool, right? The tool is something that you're going to use, and the invite, think of the invite as this, is a bridge to what you've been talking about to a tool. And it creates context, curiosity, buy-in. So, I love that they should want to be on that Zoom. They should want to jump on where they're not feeling weird about it. Because if you have done this properly, they're going to want to be on it. So again, I'm going to use the event from last night. I talked about it in my stories. I didn't just put the pre-made slides. I talked about it. And who's this for? And I shared, we have teams, we have people who are practitioners, we have influencers, we have moms, we have grandmas who do this. And they all have the same thing. They have a passion for health and wellness, and they want to share and talk about it, right? So it's easy. So what tools do we have in your toolbox? Sam always talks about the toolbox, you guys. Well, we have the short video that is on our landing page in the Shaklee, our Shaklee site. When you go on and click on share or join, there's an actual little quick video there. You could share that. It's not my favorite, but again, it's there. We have a boatload of tools as a team. So the first thing I want to talk about is our landing pages folder that is in boards. So this is in boards, and you're going to go there. And again, you can click on any of these little folders, or there will be more eventually. You can send the full landing page, or you can send just the replay of the video that we did. So if I'm talking to someone in a gym, I'm going to send them the fitness professionals. If I'm talking to a teacher, I'm going to send them the teacher one, right? And I'm not just sending it. I'm like, hey, Mary, I'm so excited that, I love that you're open to this. I'm going to send you a quick video. My good friend Andrea hosted it. She was a principal for years and years, and now she does this. And then my friend Monique, that is from Saskatchewan, she also is in there. I would love you to watch. And when is a good time that you're going to be able to watch that, right? So always, always, always schedule, which is the next step, a follow-up, which I'm going to stop because I'm getting ahead of myself. What else can you invite to? Opportunity events like the Ageless Open House when we have our team ones. What else can you invite to? We have the Income Accelerator Facebook group, you guys. That's like the lowest, easiest invite. Not the lowest, but the lowest amount of work, I guess, would be better because you invite them in there and then you use ATM, add, tag, message. So add them to the group, tag them on some posts, message them to follow up. What's another tool you can invite to? A Zoom with your mentor, right? Hey, you know what? Mary, I'm so glad that you're open to discussing this further. I'm going to introduce you to my friend Lisa. Lisa did exactly. She actually has background in jewelry business as well, just like you. I want you to meet with her because she's really had success here with us, right? So examples. We wrote out some examples. And again, all of these tools are going to be in the board under the extend folder. Okay, you guys? So CONNE. Now we're on to, oh wait, I got one more script. And again, you don't need a script. You need sincerity. But if you want to have a framework, which I'm big on, is hey, you know how you rave about XYZ, a product? You know how you always rave about health and wellness? Have you ever thought of monetizing that? Oh my God, you're so good on social media. You always share with your Amazon links. Have you ever thought about monetizing that even more? Right? Simple ask, plant the seed, and then go from there. So the next N, nurture. You got to keep nurturing this conversation. If you just give them a tool and then you're gone, guess what, you guys? Do you know how many people, this is where most people will struggle as well. Whoops, sorry, I'm going backwards. Ignore that. CONNE. C, cultivate, cultivate, cultivate. Okay. I was thinking that's an N. Yeah. C, cultivate. So this is the next step. I've sent the invite, right? I've pointed them to a tool. Now, this is where most people will drop the ball, and 90% of people don't do this. So you need to continue cultivating that relationship. Like you're a farmer and you're out tilling the soil, right? Again, you can't just invite and ghost. You have to keep having these conversations. So cultivate that relationship, whether they say yes now or later, because sometimes it might take you months. Sometimes it may take longer, right? So you have to always. Now, when I do my follow-up after an event, I always like to have a step with the time attached. So I'm sending out the replay from last night. And when I send it, I'm like, hey, here's the replay. It's so good. You're going to hear from so-and-so, so-and-so, and so-and-so. I'm a guest. And you're going to hear at the end. Make sure you stay at the end because our CEO, Roger, is going to speak. And he's who basically enrolled me into this company. And I really want you to hear from him. Okay. When do you think you're going to have a chance to watch this? And she's like, okay, today, tomorrow, tonight. But I get that. When are you going to have a chance to watch this? Once I get that, then I know when I can follow up. I say, okay, cool. You're going to watch it today. I'll pop back in here tonight and let's chat. Okay. Like, again, if you don't do that, they're not going to watch it, right? It's easy to just not watch it. So CONNEC, the final stage of the Connect framework, you guys, is transition. So you are transitioning from this relationship phase into enrolling, right? So again, based on everything we've talked about, I think you'd be freaking amazing at this. Are you ready to get started? You guys, simple. Like, don't pussyfoot around here. Like, it's like, oh my gosh, you loved Roger, you love the products. Like, are you ready? And be excited. Be excited about it. Not like, do you want to join me? Like, be excited. Here's some common objections with responses. So when they say, I don't have time, okay, I hear you. Like, what does your week look like right now? Do you think you could have like 5 hours in your week that you could actually do this? You could break it up into like 2 30-minute sessions in a day. You know, I probably could, right? Is this one of those pyramid things? I get that a lot. I'm like, hey, I get it. I get it. I've heard of the same thing. Here's why it's different. And I usually give them an analogy in my store, you guys. When I used to be in my store, this is like an aside story, I would sell silver jeans. Now I have a rep that would sell me the jeans. That rep made a percentage of everything I purchased to then sell in my store, right? And I would sell it in my store and I make a percentage there. So I always kind of like, this is kind of how the world works, right? So I talk about that, but I also ask them, like, if you had a bad experience with it, which typically they have, like, oh God, yeah, I was in XYZ 20 years ago and it was like so hard to get out. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so different. Think social selling, wellness. Like, this is everything, social selling and wellness. And I usually say things like, guys, we wouldn't have top influencers do this if it was a pyramid thing, right? We have people who like truly just share a product, and we have this beautiful double-sided compensation plan where if all you want to do is sell a product, you can do that here, right? I'm not a salesperson, neither am I. I just share what I love. I share what I believe in, whether it's health and wellness or this new top I bought, right? I tried something like this before, it didn't work. Again, always tell me more. I ask for clarification, then I move forward from there. So when you are ready to transition to enrollment, I have built out bundles. These are in the boards folder under the Connect framework, under the transition. So we've got US, we've got Canada, now we've got the Aussies and New Zealand. And in here, you guys, we talk about what they earn and what they get and the bundles that are available. And again, we will just update these if we update the kits. So those are there. So now you have a tool that you can send, my little gift to you. You have a tool that you can send when you're ready to close. And I like these because it's all on one page. So I literally could be like, compare them. And remember, the human brain, when we see things together like this, you typically don't want to go for the lowest one because you're like, oh, I mean, there's way more things over here. And well, these also have free shipping and you get a free business starter kit, where this, you just get free shipping. Okay, I'm going to go with one of these. And again, typically they're going to look at the products they need based on their desire and then a price point. So you might land here and here, you guys. These are my favorite ones right now. And this, all these top ones are my favorite. Or you might have someone that's like, I want all of that plus the skincare, and they're going to go for this guy. So these are phenomenal. Now, you've enrolled them. I like to get on the phone with them, or I like to use that back office. I'm logged in, sponsor someone. I choose my country. I say ambassador. I'm on the phone or I'm on a Zoom. I add all of their information, okay? So now they're in. Now what? Guess what? Now we onboard them, which is a whole entire folder, you guys. We have amazing. So new ambassadors start here is all of our onboarding tools. It's in boards. We have launch posts for them. We have the getting started checklist. We have a playbook. We have a flip book of the playbook. We have the getting started Zoom. We have first steps. We have first steps broken out step by step if you want to feed them like chunks in Messenger. This is what I do right here. And then I book a Zoom with them. So everything is here in our onboarding file. And Sam did a really great call on this as well that we'll put here. We also have Shackley onboarding. So something I like to use is the Shackley onboarding, which it is in lingo. There's one for each country. So you click on Canada or the US and you scroll down to new to Shackley, start here. And I send them this link because this gives them a walkthrough of the products, a walkthrough of like the back office. And I like them to go through this before we do their getting started Zoom. Okay, you guys? So that is my first stage. Again, all of that is in boards, and I post in Telegram, and I post in Lingo. So when you watch this, you are going to be able to now go back into boards, into our Impact Collective, and at the very top now, you can see we have, besides BioCell Life, we've got the enrollment system. I'm going to actually call it Connect. And we have a new folder called trainings where we are now taking all of our trainings that we do and all these great trainings that we do on Never Miss a Monday, breaking it down into a bite-sized piece like this that you're watching and putting it into our training folder and also putting it into a guide in our Facebook group. So you guys, I hope that this framework, this Connect framework helps you with like, what do I say? How do I work through the flow? How do I nurture? How do I cultivate? How do I observe so that you have everything as a framework? And I hope that it will also help you train your team on it. I'm going to stop my share. Thank you guys and signing off.